Hi everybody, I'm Alex Steedman and this is my idea of the Grand National 1, 2, 3, 4. Nick Rocket has to be involved. He's in career best form. I think he's got too much weight to actually win it, but he comes into it in great nick. I think he's probably twice the price that he should be strictly on form. And that form ties in with Minella Kakuna, who's also tied in with intense raffles on the Irish National from last season as well. So I think that's going to be quite crucial this time around. He's also got a thorough test for the first time pretty much since he won the Bet365, and I think he'll go on the ground as well. So Minella Kakuna, spot of value. I like intense raffles a lot. I'm worried about slightly drier ground than he's used to, but he's such a good jumper and he's got the right profile. And less than 11 stones, this might be his chance. I think he'll go particularly well. Number one, though, for me, is Gavin Cromwell, but not the one you think. I'm going for Percival Le Gallois. He is rampant right now, winning both at Christmas and at the DRF, both at Leopardstown, one over hurdles, one over fences. I think he's an emerging force. And if he can just keep tabs on the first circuit, if his jumping holds up through that first circuit, then I think he's got relentless stamina. And JP McManus, another string to his bow. So that's my four. Percival Le Gallois, the winner.
Hello, my name is Joshua Stacey and this is my 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Aintree Randox Grand National. In fourth, I think Iron Maximus is going to run another big race. He won the race last year. He's only up £7, and I think the whole of this year's campaign has been centred around going back-to-back in the Randox Grand National. In three, I'm going to take a swipe at 100 to 1 shot, Phil Dorr for Gordon Elliott and Rob Corr. There has got to be a grand plan with this horse, and is it this race? He's 100 to 1. I think he's got a small each-way chance. In second, I'm going to go for another horse trained by Willie Mullins, and that is going to be Minella Kakuna. Johnny Burke booked to ride this morning. I was expecting Danny on. Slight negative, not that Johnny Burke's a bad jockey, but just because he's not ever ridden Minella Kakuna before. So he's going to have to learn very quickly when he gets on him on Saturday. And then my number one pick is a favourite of everyone's. It's Hewick in the Randox Grand National. He's going to love the ground, he's going to love the trip, and he's just very classy. And that's what you need these days to win a Randox Grand National. Good luck.
Hi, I'm Andrew Blair-White. My 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Aintree Grand National this year. Back in fourth, I think, is going to be Senior Chief for Henry de Bromhead. Won over an extended trip at the Cheltenham October meeting earlier on this season. Reappeared with a sixth in a Pertemps qualifier last month, which I thought wasn't a bad run as well, and should be fresh and well and ready to run a big race. In third, I also think another Henry de Bromhead horse will run well in the shape of Manila Indo, former Gold Cup winner, placed in this race last year. He's only had 2 starts this season, but I think the 12-year-old will still defy that age and run a big race. In second, I think is going to be last year's winner, Iron Maximus. Can't see him running a bad race, even though the prep this year doesn't look like it's been going to plan. It was kind of the same going into last year's race, and I think despite that £7 rise and a mark of 169, he'll run a very big race for Paul Townend and Willie Mullins. He'll be the first string for that yard. But my first will be Hewick for Shark Hanlon and Gavin Sheehan, former King George winner, American Grand National winner, Bet365 winner. He's won it all, and he loves these big field handicap chases, and he will love the forecast good ground. He's been seen to his best on that ground, reappeared with a good hurdle victory last month. We're showing plenty of that old zest, and I think Hewick will win the Aintree Grand National.
Hello, I'm Rachel Casey and my 4-3-2-1 for the Grand National this year. Starting at number 4, going with the Can Do Kid. 3 intense raffles. Number 2, you've got to give last year's winner a big chance. I Am Maximus. And my number 1 for the Grand National will be Shark Hanlon's Hewick. I think he's got the class and the courage to win the race.
Dan Overall here, my 1, 2, 3, 4 for the National. I'm going to have Manila Indo in fourth. Obviously fourth last year, £1 lower now. I don't think he's capable of winning it at 12, but I think he'll run very well. Intense raffles I'll have in third. I think if the ground was softer, I think he'd have a massive winning chance, but the ground doesn't seem to be in his favour. In second, I'll have Minella Kakuna. I think he's been building back for this race in mind for a while. Third in the Irish National, won a Bet365. I think it's all coming right for him. And in first, I'll have Hewick, my old friend from the King George. I don't think I've backed him since that day. Now that is a bit of after timing you'll love to see. I just think it's all coming right for him. The ground, great spin over hurdles last time out, and he's a Grade 1 performer, and I think that's what you need in the National these days.
So my first 4 home in this year's Randox Grand National up at Aintree in reverse order of merit. I'm going to go with 4th being Stumptown from the Gavin Cromwell team. He's a very likeable horse, came out of Cheltenham really well, having won the cross-country chase, but I just think he might lack the ability to travel in a Grand National, which nowadays is run at quite a quick pace. Iroko has been set out for this race from quite a long way out for Josh Guerrero and Oliver Greenall and JP McManus. He's a horse I feel will definitely run well, and I can see him finishing in 3rd place. Meeting of the Waters for the same owner, JP McManus, is trained by Willie Mullins. He's another horse who's been set out for this race for quite some time. I can see him finishing in runner-up position, but this is probably a mixture maybe of more heart than head. I very much hope that Hewick wins on Saturday for Shark Hanlon, for Gavin Sheehan. He's a horse who runs at least one big race every season. We saw him last season when winning a very famous renewal of the King George chase at Kempton Park. He's going to have conditions the way he likes them. He loves to hear his hooves rattle. The ground is going to be plenty quick. I can see Hewick winning this year's Randox Grand National for Shark Hanlon and Gavin Sheehan.
Hi, I'm Paige Fuller. I'm the analyst for Race IQ, and this is my top 4 for the Grand National this year. In 4th, I have Owen Maximus. I think he'd be very unwise to overlook, but his slow jumping on better ground with £6 more in his back, I think gives him a very difficult task this year. In 3rd, I've got Intense Raffles. His run in the Bobby Joe Chase was very good. He posted a very high jump index in that race. And actually, I think his handicap mark in the National is very favourable looking at the terms that he refaces a horse like Nick Rocket. In 2nd, Hewick. Lovable horse. He's definitely got his ground this year. I think everyone will be rooting him home. It'd be a great story. And he is the highest jump index horse in the race. I think 8.4 off the top of my head. I can't believe I haven't written that down. But anyway, he's the best jumper in the race. And we know he's slow. And actually, he might be little, but he does carry weight. And yeah, as I say, it'd be a great story. But I think it's Highland chasing Nicky Henson's first win that I think he's got a really good chance. He got caught out in the Corto Star Novice Chase where the Jukebox Man's turned it into a real sprint at the end. I think Jukebox Man covered the final half mile faster than Constitution Hill or something ridiculous like that. So that shows how much of a sprint it turned into. Again, the pace found him out at Kempton the time afterwards. I think 4 Mile 2, where he can get into that lovely jumping rhythm that we saw at Cheltenham previously, is going to suit him down to the ground. And yeah, I'm rooting for Henson for this one.
Hi, I'm Ruby Walsh, and this is my Grand Randox Group Grand National 1, 2, 3, 4. In 4th place, I think Fieldor at a huge price can run in the money. In 3rd, I think it'll be last year's winner. I am Maximus. In 2nd, his stable companion, Manila Cocooner. And I think the winner will bring up a Gold Cup Grand National double for JP McManus, Mark Walsh and Gavin Cromwell. Is Percival Agelwa.
Well, here's what I think will be 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th in the Grand National. In 4th place, a horse that's got round on more than one occasion. Vanillier got round last year and finished a very honourable 2nd the year before for Gavin Cromwell, who has more than one chance in the race. In 3rd place, last year's winner, I Am Maximus. Not a lot of miles in the clock since winning by 7.5 lengths 12 months ago with that man Willie Mullins, so you can never be too sure of him not doing it again, although back-to-back Grand National winners are fairly rare. In 2nd place, Iroko in the colours of JP McManus for John Joe and AJ O'Neill. Of course, John Joe, under his own steam, has won a Grand National in the past. He's a horse that chased home the mighty Grey Dawning at Kelso. He has been laid out, in my opinion, for the Grand National all season. And the winner of this year's Randox Grand National for me is the Nicky Henderson trained Highland. Nicky's 44th runner in the race. It was way back in 1979. The Scottish trained Rubstick was a winner, and Nicky's first runner in the race, Zongalero, was an honourable second. He's never gone closer than that. Highland's still a novice. He's won 3 of his 6 starts over fences. A couple of good seconds on his 2 recent runs at Kempton, second in the Call to Star and second in a handicap last time. Highland to finally win the National for that man Nicky Henderson.
Hi, I'm Tom Bull. My 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Grand National is in 4th place, Hewick, former King George winner, Grade 1 winner. He should be able to get a place at least. In 3rd, 3 under 3 5, I think could run well. 66 to 1 for Paul Nicholls, but should enjoy the test, likes the ground, jumps very well. In 2nd, Vanillier. The blinkers have really perked him up recently. I think he might just get that 2nd spot. And in 1st place, I'm going to go with Intense Raffles. Slight concern about the ground, but I think he'll overcome that. And last year's Irish National winner can win the British version.
Really looking forward to the Ancient Grand National this year, and my top 4 selections for the great race. I'm going to start back in 4th place. Hewick, trained by Shark Hanlon. I can see him running a big race as well, just not maybe quite strong enough to get home inside the final furlong, but still a credible run by him back in 4th. Beauport, trained by the Twiston Davies. I think he's a big player as well. He should run a huge race back in 3rd. He's progressive. I think the distance should suit him very well as well. And in 2nd place, last year's winner, I Am Maximus. Willie Mullins, Paul Townend. He will enjoy entry again. Unfortunately, I think weight will come to his detriment inside the final furlong, and it will be left to his ownership companion, Percival Galwa, trained by Gavin Cromwell, to compete a famous double for him. Trainer having won the Gold Cup for the same owner, JP McManus. And Percival Galwa, who's been a frustrating type, has really got it together in recent runs, bolting up into Paddy Power at Christmas. He was an impressive winner at the Dublin Racing Festival over hurls. He goes here a fresh horse, stable on a roll. He's going to carry off a famous victory in Saturday's race.
Hi, I'm Nick Luck, and here's my 1, 2, 3, 4 for the 2025 Randox Grand National. In 4, Monbeg Genius. Yes, he's an outsider. Yes, he hasn't got any secrets from the handicapper, but he is in good form. He jumps well. He's a strong stayer. Nick Schofield for John Joe O'Neill. I think he'll creep into the frame. 4th for Monbeg Genius. 3rd, I've gone for Grange Clare West. I wouldn't be surprised if this horse went pretty close to winning this race. He's a horse who has had to have his last run to qualify for it. Prior to that, an excellent second to Galopin des Champs. I don't think the handicapper's near him yet. He's still on the improve. There's plenty of stamina in his pedigree. I've always thought he wanted a trip. Grange Clare West and Brian Hayes to fill 3rd for me. I've got another Mullins horse in 2nd. Minella Kakuna, the mount of Johnny Burke. Marathon trip, fast ground, and a touch of class, and not badly handicapped, and the conditioning this season. I think everything is in Minella Kakuna's favour. And the win, for me, goes to Intense Raffles. Now, ideally, yes, a bit more rain would have suited, but the ground is not going to be quick. Aintree ensure that. And ever since I saw him win the Irish Grand National last year, I just thought, next year at Aintree, his jumping is beautiful to watch. He gets into a lovely rhythm in these races. He's not going to be phased by lots of runners. I think he's had just about the perfect prep for it. And so Intense Raffles is my number 1 pick for the Randox Grand National.